अद्य गुरुवासरः निजज्येष्ठ कृष्ण चतुर्दशी दिनांक 12 जुलै 2018 चरक चिकित्सा स्थान अध्याय 26 सूत्र क्रमांक 5 शंखं चक्रं जलसान्दधतमृतघटं चारुदोर्भिश्चतुर्भिः सूक्ष्मस्वच्छातिरुद्यांशुकपरिविलसन् मौलिमम्भोजनेत्रं कालाम्भोधोज्ज्वलाङ्गं कटितटविलसच्चारुपीताम्बराढ्यं वन्दे धन्वन्तरिं तं निखिलगगनप्रौढदावाग्निवीणम् प्रौढदावाग्निवीरम् ब्रह्मणो हि समारब्धामात्रेयाद्येषु पूजिताम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् आयुर्वेदरतं वन्दे माधवाख्यं महागुरुम् आयुर्वेदार्थं सर्वं शिष्येभ्यो यः प्रदत्तवान् द्रष्टाज्ञानी दृष्टकर्मा कृतकर्मा तथैव च अध्यापकोऽभिषक्श्रेष्ठो महान् संशोधकस्तथा गुणैरेतैः समुदितैः यत्कार्यं यतनोद्दिशः समृद्ध्यर्थं हि कार्यस्य वयं नु प्रयतामहे सरस्वत्यै नमो यस्याः प्रसादात् पुण्यकर्मभिः बुद्धिदर्पणसङ्क्रान्तं जगदध्यक्षं वीक्षते आत्रेयं प्रथमं वन्दे आयुर्वेदजगद्गुरुम् आयुर्वेदामृतं सर्वं गृहीत्वा हि सुरेश्वरात् अग्निवेशादिकेभ्यो यत् प्रयच्छत् मुनिसत्तमः प्रथमं तन्त्रकर्तारम् अग्निवेशं नमाम्यहम्। अद्य गुरुवासरः द्विज ज्येष्ठ कृष्ण चतुर्दशी दिनांक 12 जुलै 2018 चरक चिकित्सा स्थान अध्याय 26 सूत्र क्रमांक 5 पांचेतपूर तिसऱ्या जन्मदिनम् कषाय तिक्तोषण रूक्ष भोज्यैः संधारणा भोजनमैथुनैश्च बक्वाशय कुप्यति चेदपानः श्रोतांस्यधोगानि बलीसरुपा इमानि तावत् कारणानि कषाय तिक्तोषण रूक्ष भोज्य संधारण अभोजन मैथुन सर्वाणि अपि इमानि खलु अपतर्पण करणानि अपतर्पणानि तैः वातस्य प्रकोपः अपानवातस्य प्रकोपः पक्वाशये यदि भवति चेत् तर्हि अधोगानीव श्रोतांसि सः रुद्ध्वा करोति विन्मार्तुमुत्रसंज्ञा बलवान् खलु अपानवायुः प्रकुपितः पक्वाशये प्रकुपितः विन्मारुतमूत्रसङ्गम् ततोऽनन्तरम् उदावर्तमतः सुघोरम् क्रमात् सः सुघोरमुदावर्तं जनयति ऋग्बस्तिहृत्कुक्षुदरेषु अभीक्ष्णं पृष्ठपार्श्वेषु अतिदारुणा स्यात् एतेषु सर्वेषु अवयवेषु अभीक्ष्णम् अतिदारुणा च रुजा स्यात् बस्तिहृत्कुक्षि उदर पृष्ठपार्श्वेषु सो इमे तावत् शारीराः भावाः येषु अतिदारुणा ऋक् भवेत् अन्मानरुल्लासविकर्तिकाश्च तोदो विपाकश्च सबस्तिशोथः सो अन्मानरुल्लासविकर्तिका विशेषतः यदा वायुः निस्सरति तदा तस्मिन् स्थाने पीडा भवति अनुभूयते तोदः विपाकश्च सबस्तिशोथः इदं तावत् महत्त्वपूर्णं बस्तिशोथः तत्र लक्षणरूपेण वर्णितोऽस्ति विशेषतः मूत्रसङ्गे एतादृशं लक्षणं महत्त्वपूर्णं दातार्गुरुजी महोदयैः यत् हरळु इत्यस्य वा शोधमष्टादिगुग्गुलस्य वा यत्र विधानं कृतमस्ति तत्र बस्तिशोथः सः तावत् मूत्रपिण्डशोथः इति कथयति किन्तु वस्तुतः वस्तिशोतः यत् लक्षणं स्पष्टतया अत्र उदावर्ते निर्दिष्टं तत् महत्त्वपूर्णम्। वर्चो प्रवृत्तिर्जठरे च गण्डानि ऊर्ध्वश्च वायुर्विहतो गुदे स्यात्. So vayu is vihata urdhva guda or urdhva. कृच्छ्रेण शुष्कस्य चिरात् प्रवृत्ति स्याद्वा तनुस्यात् खररूक्ष शीता. So चिरेण शुष्कस्य चिरात् प्रवृत्ति पुरुषस्य and tanu स्यात् खररूक्ष शीता. Tanu is खररूक्ष and शीता. ततश्च रोगा ज्वरमूत्र कुर्च्छ्र प्रवाहिकारुद्घाणी प्रदोषाः वम्यान्धमाधिर्य शिरो विताप वातोदराष्ठील मनोविकाराः. So surprisingly, as I said, Andhya is also there. Badhirya, Shirobhitapa, Vatodara, Ashtila, Manovikara are also there. So this is important. The mind becomes agitated, so to say, and that can lead to Manovikara. And this is arising from irritation, yeah, arthyasavika, yeah. That is what I feel might be irritation. And there are two aspects: formation of urine and retention of urine. In cases like CKD or kidney failure, the formation is less, and there the concern is more with the agni and conversion of ledha into mutra. And in mutra purusha, there is formation, there is retention of urine, and once that is eliminated, then that is fine. So here the concern is mutra sangha rather than formation of urine. So that we have to consider. So manovikara, this is associated with this digestion process as such, or associated with udavarta as such. And that needs proper attention. And with elimination of this vata mutra purisha, the manovikara will also subside. That is the issue. तृष्णास पित्ता रुचिगुल्मकास श्वास प्रतिशार्वित पार्श्वरोगाः. So रक्तपित्त अरुचि गुल्म कास श्वास प्रतिशाय अर्धित पार्श्वरोग. अन्ये च रोगा भवो निलोत्थाः भवन्त्युदावर्तकृताः सुघोराः. So even other diseases which are arising from vata dosha, these are due to this udavarta sughora. So those are very difficult to treat. चिकित्सितं चास्य यथावद् ऊर्ध्वं प्रवक्ष्यते तच्छृणुचाग्निवेश. So now I explain the चिकित्सिता of this. बस्त्यादिजानं यथाक्रमं हेत्वादिकम् आह कषाय इत्यादि. उषणः कटुकः पक्वाशय इत्यादिना उदावर्तसम्प्राप्ति लिङ्ग चिकित्सितानि प्राह. ननु कथम अपानः कुपितः अपानस्यैव संगं करोति इति मारुतसंगशब्देन उच्यते ब्रूमः. आत्मना एव अयं दुष्टः सम्यक् अप्रवर्तमानः आत्मनः संगं करोति इत्युच्यते. So Chakramani Datta has himself raised a question and has given answer to that. Apanvayu is prakupita, and how does it make sangha of itself? That is the question. It may do sangha of mutra and purisha, but how does it make sangha of itself? And atmana eva ayam dushta samyak apravartamana atmana sangam karoti. When it doesn't move out, then it is said to be the sangha of that vayu. Now this is again a question. What is really apana or something like that? Apanopanaka Shroni Vasti Medro Rugo Charaha and Shukrartava Shakrun Mutara Garbhanishkaramana Kriya. So Shukrartava Shakrun Mutara Garbhanishkaramana Kriya. These are the functions of apana. And when we say that the vayu has to be anuloma, it has to get out from the body. Prasrushte Vinmutre Rudhisamule Doshe Swapatege Tathagna Vishadakarne Dehe Sadado. Prasrushte Vinmutre Rudhisamule Doshe Swapatege Vishuddhe Chodgare Kshuddhapagamane Vatenu Sarati. So Vishuddha Udgara and Vatenu Sarati. Anusarana of Vata. Whether this vayu that is going out is apana or apana is something which creates this action. And there is controversy while eating food, vayu also enters along with the food. Now, in conventional medicine says that around 20 liters of vayu, air, gets into the digestive tract. And it gradually is thrown out either through burps, udgara, or through gudar, apana, or something like that. In certain patients, that is also seen coming out from yoni. I have not heard from basti or urinary tract, but people do say that the vayu gets out from the yoni as such, or something like that. Now the one which is going out, whether that is apana or one which provokes that to go out is apana. Truly speaking, one which provokes it to go out is apana. So when they say sangha of vayu or something like that, this might be the sangha of the vayu which is engulfed during intake of food, and particularly the adhana, anaha, etc., etc. These are associated with the sangha of vayu, whether it is engulfed vayu or whether it is generated vayu in the pakvashaya or something like that, with sprouts and vatakara ahara. And this vayu has to go out on a regular basis. And even conventional medicine says that it keeps on passing out, and that may not be troublesome for the person. Only in few persons we have sashabda anila or something like that, and in few persons it might be having a bad smell, purisha gandhi or something like that, and then that is associated with anaha, etc. purisha sangha as such. Surprisingly, this is Durgandhi Vayu is commonly seen symptom, observed symptom. And I started searching it in Lakshana Kosha. I didn't find a single reference. So I was shocked. This is very well observed symptom. Then philosophically speaking, Vayu is never Durgandhi. Vayu doesn't have smell at all. So the Prithvi Mahabhut is having smell, and then this is the smell of the Purisha that is carried by the Vayu. Vayu itself is not Durgandhi. That is the answer why there is no reference of Durgandhi Vayu in Lakshana Kosha. Now the smell might be due to Ama Purisha, that is Purisham Purusha Durgandhi, Vichalan Chama Samudha. And that Ama Durgandha Amapurisha Durganda is carried by Vayu, and that is why Vayu has that particular smell which is felt by the person or other persons or the people around the person. But still, this is not really associated with Vayu, this is associated with Amapurisha or something like that. So, this particular symptom, whether it is Durgandhi Vayu or Nirgandhi Vayu without any noise, this is a natural phenomena, and that is the indication, one of the indications for having food material. But then there are two, three ways. There is one Poshtagata Vayu, which is a disease condition, so to say. This can be as a lakshana of other diseases, that is particularly Udavarta, that is another aspect. And it may get expressed through Admana, Anaha kind of thing. And or Tatata, it is stretched, the abdomen is stretched due to this Adman. This is also seen. So basically, the concept of Vayu as a dosha is associated with the functionality of Shukrata, Shakramudra, Garbha Nishkarmana Kriya. That is the functionality of this Apana Vayu as such. One which goes out is different Vayu, which is either engulfed during food ingestion or which is formed during the digestion process in excess or something like that with Vatakara Ahara. Or this is might be due to the Sangha of Vayu. And when we say the Vata is Anulomita, then the symptoms subside. That is the thing. Whether Vatanulomana can be felt or not, that is still another issue. Symptoms may subside. Vatanulomana may not be felt. Or sometimes it is easily seen that the Vayu goes out. Palatkar sir had mentioned one case. In certain patients, there is Udgara Avarodha. And if you touch any part of the body, particularly sandhis of this patient, he gets a burn. These patients are seen, very well seen. So, as if the Vayu is accumulated all over the body, and with any stimulus, it tries to reach Amashaya and go out. In such a case, Samshamanivati, in a very high dose, was administered by somebody before 20 tablets at a time and 4 times a day, so 80 tablets a day. This was also tried by Yoga Joshi sir. I don't know from where this has come. And Kolatkar sir used it in that way. And the patient said that he was passing gas like anything, he couldn't go out. 2-3 days he was continuously passing gas with loud noise. And when all the gas Vayu was eliminated from the body, he got relief. So this is the Koshtagati of Vayu from various parts of the body, Shakha, Dharmasti Sandhi, into the Koshtha, depending upon whether it reaches Amashaya or Pakvashaya. It may be eliminated by Udgara or may be eliminated by like Apanavayu or Adhonusaran Vatasya or something like that. In certain patients, it is found that you are treating the patient for Sandhivata Vata or some other disease, And without any apparent cause of Vatakara Ahara, the patient has this Admana etc. symptoms. And when they are relieved, the patient is relieved from the previous disease for which he is being treated and also the Atmana. Now, this is typically Gati of Vayu from Shakha Marmasti Sandhi to Koshta, and if it is eliminated out, then both the original disease and this in between Lakshan Admana is also gone. Actually, if Agni is good in this state, Snehapana is the best treatment. Sneho nilam hanti mrudam karoti deham mananam vinihanti santa. That is what Gadgil says. So nilam hanti, sneha nilam hanti mrudam karoti. It creates mardava of the body. And vinihanti santam. So Vatamutri Purishani Sajjante Kathanchana. When there is proper Snehapana, the Vatra Mutra Purisha do not get obstructed. And Vayu Prashanti Mapadyate. Due to Sangha, there is Vata Prakopa. But if there is no Sangha, the very basic reason behind this is Ruksha Kashaya Katu Tikta kind of ahara. And Anashana also, or Abhojana also. These are all being apatarpana. And in such a scenario, if we have snigdha ahara or snehapana or external application of sneha, whatever, in whatever way you can specify the vata dosha, that will get eliminated. And then the apana, which has this function, is different from the vayu that goes out. That is most important thing. Sometimes it is seen that the nose is blocked and there is more engulfing of air, getting more udgara or something like that. And Nasya helps in these patients to reduce the udgara. It might be that one may not be able to see actual obstruction in the nose, a constricted nose or some arsha, arbuda or something like that. But still, this can be a condition, and Nasya in any form helps that condition, and that reduces the entry of air along with the food material. So this is again another important aspect. Ashrayam Pavanadinam Chaturtham Avasheshe, that is what Vagbhata says. So Annena Kuksher Dvavamsho Panena Ekam Prapure. Two parts of the amashaya to be filled with solid food, dhana, ahara, 1/4 with drava ahara, and 1/4 to be kept empty for sancharana of vata, etc. And Sharkacharya says Trivida Kukshiya, so 1/3 dhana, 1/3 drava, and 1/3 or sancharana of vayu, etc. So this might be a normal phenomena to get entry of vayu, and one should provide space for its movement. And it keeps on moving from amashaya to Pakvashaya or something like that. Vayu is one of the factors for digestion. Ushma Vayu Kledaha, like that. So Ahara Parinamakara Bhava also requires Vayu. Now this Vayu might be this Pran, Udana, Samana, all are working together or something like that. Or this might be this Vayu which is also responsible for the further movement of the food material, And when it reaches Pakvashaya, the Vayu gets the Purisha formation is there, and it gets eliminated. That is one aspect. And Vaivagni Dharana is the function of Purisha. So the Vayu that is required for doing the functions of Vata dosha in the body has to be retained, and that is the function of the Purisha as such. And even Agni Dharana is being done by the Purisha. So, this entry of Vayu along with the food material or the generation of Vayu due to Vatakara Ahara, particularly Shimbi Varga and Ruksha, Patitikta Kashaya, Rasatmaka Ahara, or in today's language, these potatoes and sprouts, etc., etc. This leads particularly to formation of Vayu as such. And the Vayu that is engulfed along with the food material, it keeps on passing through the alimentary canal, reaches Pakvashaya, and whatever is excess, it is the duty of the Apana Vayu to eliminate it out without any smell, without any noise. If there is bad smell, then one has to consider the Sama Purisha for that and give Langan Pachana or something like that. And if it is excess of Vayu, then one has to think of this entry of Vayu or generation of Vayu. And due to thought process, also there is generation of Vayu. That is another issue. Particularly, Chinta creates Rauksha. Snehyasyuryecha Chintakaha. Those who are Chintaka, they are all Sneha. That is what Ch.Chi.26 says. And Sneha is also one of the factors for Ahara Pachana. Now you see, Vayu is also responsible for digestion. Sneha is also responsible for digestion. Empty stomach also, and during should both sounds of Vata are felt in stomach. What is the significance of this? So it might be Vayur Dhatukshayat Kopo Margasyavarane Va. Empty stomach, there are Vata Dhvanis, and there is generation maybe of the Vata, or Vata is coming into the Koshta. Vidyavishandana Takat Koshtam Vayushta Nigraha. So the Vata in other parts of the body might be reaching in Amashaya because there is it's the Koshtatva. And this mahasrotas is called as Mahanimna. We skip that. Mahasrotas is called as Mahanimna. So it is something which is at a lower level, and the doshas tickle from whatever places to this Mahanimna as such. It is easier to understand this regarding Pitta and Kapha because both of them may have liquid form, and they can easily be traveling to Mahanimna Kostra. For Vata, this is a bit difficult to understand. But anyway, we can consider for Vata dosha as well. And when the person is hungry at that time and he eats, then the vata dosha gets specified. And the symptom is gone. अन्नासह प्रवेशित झालेला वायू काही प्रमाणात आहार रसासह पुढील पुढील धातूमध्ये प्रवेशित होत असेल का, पुढे त्याची विल्हेवाट कशी लागत असेल. This is a big question. Now, for digestion, ahara parinamakara bhava. This ushma vayu agni kalaha. Ushma vayu sneha kalaha. Samayoga and saumanasyam. These are responsible for kledaha, ushma vayu kledaha. Responsible for digestion. Whether it is responsible only for digestion at gross level in mahasrotas, or this is applicable also at dhatugata level and panchabhutika level. No, that's the question. And for me, wherever digestion occurs, all these factors are important, even at dhatugata level. So vayu is also important, kleda is also important, agni is also important, even at dhatugata level. Now we have this dhatvagnis. So agni is present. Sneha or kleda might be coming through the dhatu poshaka ansha or something like that. Whether vayu also enters through that. And samayoga and saumanasya, these are also important even transformation in the transformation of ahara rasa into prasadi dhatus, etc. So it might be possible that it goes through. Another aspect that vata dushta, pitta dushta, kapha dushta, rakta, this is being carried from navi into the whole body. And if we consider the concept prana shonitam hi anuvartate, vayu follows rakta, then that might be the responsible thing for the parinamana or something like that. Now, if we have some integrated approach, according to conventional medicine, cellular level is one of the important levels. And whatever we eat, whatever we inhale, has to reach the cellular level. So they have a peculiar concept that this blood is the carrier of nutrients to cell level, to a cell. And this nutrient, after the food is digested, it goes into the liver or something like that. And there is a separate circulation associated with liver. Now, whether this has a direct link to heart or this has to pass through lungs. Conventional medicine says it goes to heart, then it goes back to lung, then it reaches lung, heart again, and then this oxyhemoglobin is circulated in the whole body. And the nutrients are being carried uh, by this vein reaching the liver or something. And the nutrients and the oxygen from lung travel throughout the body, reach every cell. The whatever vayu, carbon dioxide is generated, that is brought back to lungs again, and actually that is brought back to heart again. Heart takes it to lung, and the purification process, after purification, after elimination of this carbon dioxide through lungs, this process is complete. What about the micronutrients that reach cell level, and what are the eliminations from the cell? Where do they go, and how that is brought either to digestive system or any other way? This is still a big question. मुखावाटे वात engulf केला जात नसावा असं GIT is collapsed structure, not like rigid pipe, and also having sphincters. The vayu collected in GIT is due to pachana of ahara at koshtha and dhatu level 2, I think. No, but this is accepted, no doubt. The function of the sphincters is to prohibit the entry of the food material into lungs. Now, while we are eating, we are also doing breathing. And the nasal passage, the mouth passage, both can lead to lung. We can breathe through mouth as well, and normally we have to breathe with nose. And while food passes through mouth into the esophagus, there are sphincters which don't allow the food to enter into the lungs. And but vayu can enter into the GI tract during this process. Maybe this is respiratory vayu. Maybe this is vayu associated with the ingestion of the food material. You may try to search on net what the condition is. Both the things are possible. So vayu is engulfed during food process. That is true. Now let us turn back to what I was trying to explain at cellular level. Every cellular level, every cell has to survive and have its own normal life, depending on the type of the cell, whether it is RBC, whether it is neuron, whether it is something else or something like that, or muscle tissue, whatever it may be. So every cell has its own life, and it requires nourishment, food nutrients from the food material. That is one thing, and it also requires oxygen for survival. That is conventional view, without which it cannot survive. Now the oxygen from the air is transported through hemoglobin, oxyhemoglobin, and it reaches the cell level. And the praspanda, this is one of the important functions of vata dosha, etc. So there is a continuous process of travel, and there is a continuous process of transformation. So whatever vayu we ingest, that is through digestion, that is one aspect. Whatever we are inhaling in our breathing pattern or something like that, that has its own channel, pranavasotas, as what we call. And the Moolasthana of pranavasotas is Hrudaya mahasrotas. This is very strange. They don't have any mention of Pusa in that. Because the Moolasthana is mahasrotas and Hrudaya. So what is the link between these two? So, what I feel, mahasrotas is the main organ for digestion, separation, assimilation, elimination of the gross food material. So when digestion takes place, it converts the food material into sara and pitta. Sara is absorbed. Pitta gets transformed into mala and mutra, eliminated from the body. And why Rudaya is the Moolasthana of Pranavasotas and such. This is the organ which transports the nutrients through Vyanavayu, through Rasa, Dhatu. And it might also be transporting the Vayu in this way or something like that. Or the oxyhemoglobin or something like that. That is an integrated approach. So, कुपितानान्तखलु येषाम् इदं विशेष विज्ञानं कुपितम् अल्पाल्पम् अल्पीक्षं विश्वसन्तं दृष्ट्वा प्राणवहानि अस्य स्रोतांसि दुदृष्टानि इति विद्या. The reflection of pranava srotas drushti is directly seen in dysfunction of the respiratory tract or respiration. Now, this has direct relationship with mahasrotas and hrudaya, which are the moolasthana of pranava srotas. So, the uchvasa, which is deranged, which is altered or something, in pranava srotas drushti as such. And it has something to do with the saumanasya of the mind. The yoga people always say that whenever the mind is affected, the first symptom is irregular breathing. Whenever there is anxiety, there is fear, there is krodha or something like that. Then there might be more rutspanda or something like that. And it immediately affects respiration, and the respiration is hampered in a bad way. So if we concentrate on respiration, make it settle, have dirga shvasana, then the mind also becomes calm and quiet. And everything gets settled or something. So this relationship between this mahasrotas, hrudaya and pranavasotas or respiration has some relationship. And what conventional medicine thinks of this in a fragmented approach, they have circulatory system which is separate, which has a link with the lung. They have this mesentery and the blood supply to mesentery and the collection of chyle and getting it into the liver and getting it back to heart. In the meanwhile, we have the process of formation of rakta when it reaches liver. And for us, the carrying of rasa is being done to heart, and carrying transportation of blood is through sira, naviprabhava sira. So this is quite clumsy. How do we interpret all these things? But anyhow, both the micronutrients reach the cellular level through heart along with the oxygen or oxygenated hemoglobin. And there is tissue respiration at cellular level. There is generation of this carbon dioxide, which is again brought back to heart, again sent back to Fufusa and eliminated through lungs. So the involvement of heart is there even during the process of elimination or acceptance of oxygen and elimination of carbon dioxide. And anyway, the vayu, which is responsible for the living of the cell, is transported through this heart and the lung or something like that. Pranavasrotas and rasavasrotas, that we may say. Only differentiating point between conventional medicine and Ayurveda is the rasadhatu that reaches Hridaya and rakta, which carries vata pitta kapha, goes through navi prabhava sira. And prana shonitanya anuvartate, vayu follows rakta. This might be common if we are understanding prana as oxygen. I don't feel so. This is very very much temptation to equal prana with the oxygen. But that's not the thing. It's the living force. We require both breathing, or all living beings require both breathing and food material. These are two important things for living. Breathing is more important than even food material. That is very well known. That's the linga of Atma in the body. So pranapano nimeshadya jivanam manaso gatihi. These are the symptoms of Atman in the body. And this pranapano is what everybody tries to explain is inhalation and exhalation of the vayu. Now the role of that in keeping the person alive at it even up to the tissue level or cellular level or something like that. And at a gross level, that when the breathing stops, the person dies or something. This is one aspect. And the food material which is ingested by the living being has to go through the process of digestion in alimentary canal or mahasrotas, so to say. There is formation of doshas in this mahasrotas. And for them to move into the body and do their functions, it is the shonita, vata dushta, pitta dushta, kapha dushta, and shuddha shonita, as what they say. Now the concept of Shuddha Shonita, what it is, Tad Vishuddha Mirudaram Balavarana Sukhaisha Natya Prananam Prana Shonitam Yanuvartate. Vishuddha Shonita. And that Vidhi is Desha Kala Uka Satmyanam Vidhi Yasam Prakashita. Desha Kala and Uka Satmya. That is the Vidhi. So it is associated with this Atmi Sankalpana. विधिना शोणितं जातं शुद्धं भवति देहिनां देशकालोकसात्म्यानां विधिरसं प्रकाशितः. So when it gets formed, the rakta gets formed with this vidhi, then that is shuddha. And then the prana will follow this shuddha shonita and that will reach at a very minute level or cellular level and give nourishment to the tissues and also will supply this vayu to the tissues required for living of the tissues or something like that. Now, due to the fragmented approach of conventional medicine, which considers respiratory system separate, circulatory system separate, digestive system separate, and there is no linkage in all these systems or synchronization, harmony in these systems. As against in holistic manner of Ayurveda, these are all linked together. Nobody would have thought of mahasrotas and hrudya as Moolasthana or pranvayu. This is very strange. And obvious Fufusa is not incorporated in mahasrotas. This is in pranavayu. This is something very strange as such. But this all is a process of digestion, transformation, and formation of malas, elimination of those malas, etc., etc., which is quite complex picture, so to say. So if we apply the concept of ahara parinamakara bhava even at subtle level, at dhatvagni level, at uptikagni level, then we may understand the role of Ushma, Vayu, Kleda, etc. at that level and why Vata is required or something like that. So this very well signifies the process of Vata as a living force required by every living being and required even at Parmanu level for living of the Parmanu as such. Shariravayastu Parmanu Bhedena Aparisankheya Bhavanti. So these are Aparisankheya at Parmanu Bhed or something like that. And the nourishment has to reach each and every cell of the body. And even the living force has to reach each and every cell of the body. Now, how all this happens and the synchronization of digestive system, circulatory system, respiratory system, and maybe the concept of Dhatvagni, Bhutagni, Srotas for that particular thing has to be considered together. All these work in harmony, and then we have the desired effect. So, how Saumanasya is affecting this, and why a pleasant state of mind is required during food material, during taking food material, during eating. That is, this is at a gross level, but to have it proper at dhatu level or bhatik level, Saumanasya is required all the time. Manakarare prasanna, sarvasiddhi se karana, what Tukaram says. So it is the cause for sarvasiddhi and such. And to be happy in any condition is really a requirement or something like that. How to happen that? How to make it happen? This is a big issue. But if we have proper respiration and if we have inculcate this habit of normal respiration throughout the day, what Tavaria says that you have to get accustomed to this rhythm, normal rhythm pattern. 3 seconds inhalation, 2 seconds exhalation. So let it sink into your body. When you practice slow rhythm of Tavaria, that starts sinking into your body. And this pattern is maintained or something like that. That should be helping the breathing pattern or respiration at tissue level. And along with the proper nourishment in the form of food material, proper timings, proper quantity, proper quality of food, etc., etc., which leads to nourishment of the body. This also is a requirement, and that's the role of hrudya in all these phenomena, digestion phenomena, digestion at gross level and digestion at tissue level or something like that. So in a way, if we try to keep the balanced state of dosha, and what I felt while practicing Tavaria, that it controls the Koshtha Shakha Marmasti Santigati and keeps it balanced. Tavaria Prana. So whenever there are disturbances, this tries to restore the Koshtha Shakha Marmasti Santigati and keeps it balanced. So I really praise the Tavaria technique of pranayama. If we practice the Antakumbhak and Bahikumbhak in square breathing more elaborately or something like that, if we practice Omkar, in which after exhalation there is a pause and no inhalation and Shwasa Prashwasa Gati Vichcheda. That is real pranayama, as what Patanjali says, Tasmin Chati Shwasa Prashwasa Gati Vichcheda pranayama. So if we practice the square breathing and the Omkar very well, that will have a long term effect. Danu emphasized on practicing slow breathing for a more prolonged time. And refining breathing is really an exercise, so to say. But forcefully, in step up breathing, you forcefully engulf air and blow it out. This is one way of expelling the excess air into your body. And this particular technique of Antakumbhak Bahikumbhak in square breathing and in Omkar, wherein you stay without breath in Bahikumbhak avastha. So this should be having a long-term effect on your psychology. I have found that this can make a positive change in your thought process. Mahakalyanaka Grutta is also having this capacity of bringing out a change in mindset. And even Tavaria has this capacity to bring a change in the mindset. But this is again an outcome of regular practice. So 7 minus 1 is 0, what he tries to say. So it has to be a continuous process, regular pranayama or something like that. And if we really understand all these in a synchronized manner, the digestion, the respiration, the digestion at gross level, the digestion at tissue level, and the importance of nutrients and the vayu as a living force, and synchronization of all these, then we really understand the life processes what are going on in the body. No doubt this is bit integrated approach, but we have to think of mahasrotas and hrudya as the moolasthana of pranavasrotas. So there is a synchronization of these three systems together in breathing pattern, and I think that's novel idea. That's very novel thought process. Though when I wrote essay on srotas, I could not write much on this aspect as such. I was in second year at that time. But now I realize the importance of this and how Ayurveda distinguishes itself from conventional medicine and how Ayurveda is holistic. That is most important aspect over here. So let us conclude here. Today in the afternoon the Amavasya starts, so we will not have lecture tomorrow, but we'll continue on Saturday. Sphincters between esophagus and stomach may prevent entry of vata in stomach, and vata being light will remain on the upper side while engulfing food. That is true. But still, some vata along with the food material should be entering into the stomach. I think you tried to find references for this in conventional medicine, and whether they support this concept of engulfing of vata along with the food material. But I think it is there. I read one article long back, maybe one and a half year before, by an allopathic doctor regarding engulfing of vayu, and she said that 20 liters of vayu is eliminated every day by every human being. So this is quite big amount, and 20 liters should be entering. Otherwise, how it can be eliminated? Or 20 liters has to be generated, and only vatakara ahara will generate vayu dosha. But otherwise, it might be the entry of the vata dosha into the stomach. And the role of vayu in ahara parinamakara bhava. Though this is very, very well understood, pranapana samane studhmayate palyate picture. This is regarding the agni, pranapana and samana. These act, they do dhapana and palana of agni, and that is how it might be helping. Agni sakha, vayu is agni sakha. But still, vayu itself, this is indirect role of vayu. But vayu should be having a positive role in digestion. And no doubt at tissue level it does have a role. That is another issue. But this is stretching of the concept of vata dosha in digestion. Let us consider it on Saturday. So we may continue with this, and I know we are going very slow, but these are very basic concepts, and we need to understand them at a root level. Anyway, we conclude today and continue on Saturday. आयुर्वेद प्रकाण्डो निगदितैः हि शल्यतन्त्रप्रधानः शिष्येभ्यः शाश्वतोऽयं निखिलजनकृपा व्याप्तचित्तेन येन आयुर्वेदस्य वाञ्छन् पुनरपि भुवने ताञ्च सुष्ठु प्रतिष्ठां श्रेष्ठं धन्वन्तरिं तं प्रणमति च सदा वैद्यवर्गो हि नूनम् विरम्यते व्याख्यानव्यापारः परश्वः पुनरपि मिलिष्यामः।